That's pretty cool. Guys, it's Sean Hammond with Premier Guitar. We're at Winter NAMM 2020 at the TWA booth with Kevin Bolenbach, and we got Ray on guitar here. This is the Wahxidizer?
Yes, what you just heard was the TWA Wahxidizer. We like to refer to it as an envelope-controlled fuzz. It's basically, the circuit is based on a vintage Univox Super Fuzz, but then we took that and we tweaked it out and added a bunch of settings that we really wanted to see. The first thing we did was, the Univox has 2 different tone settings, fat and scoop, but it's on a slider switch, so you have to use your hand to switch between the 2 settings. So what we did is we put it on a foot switch so you can get 2 completely different fuzz voices on the fly. In addition, we added a parametric EQ to the circuit, and that way you can adjust the tone. You could pick a specific frequency and cut or boost it to really dial in the sound of the fuzz to your liking, or to a particular room, or to a particular guitar and amp setup. In addition to that, we wanted to, because the frequency has such a wide sweep, we added envelope control of the frequency so it reacts like an envelope filter, and you could peak the frequency of the EQ using your playing dynamics. We also added an expression jack that you can put an expression pedal control of the frequency, or as Ray just showed you with the TWA sidestep, the sidestep is a universal tap tempo LFO. The Wahxidizer is slaved to the sidestep, so you can also get LFO control over the frequency of the filter on the Wahxidizer.
That's a lot of stuff I can do.
Yeah.
You want to show us a few different sounds, your favorites?
Absolutely, Ray.
That's awesome. What did you say the expression pedal was controlling again?
Okay, so the standard expression pedal, without connection to the sidestep, controls the frequency of the parametric EQ. Okay. So when Ray was doing that stuff that sounded like a fuzz wah, he was actually using an expression pedal on the ground to peak the frequency of the filter. And that's where you're getting those really cool fuzz wah sounds. But the sidestep also has an expression through, so all that stuff is still connected, and with the flick of a switch, you can toggle between the LFO setting or the manual expression control of the frequency.
Cool. We actually just reviewed that, by the way, so go check it out on premierguitar.com. Okay, shameless self-plug over. Is it silicon transistors or diodes? Or?
It actually uses an op-amp design with some germanium clipping diodes, but it's not exactly like the original Super Fuzz, but everything, in A/B comparisons, it sounds exactly like it. So.
Okay. Do you want anything else you want to show us on that, or should we move on to the Microcasm?
Yeah, let's move on to the Microcasm. This will most likely be shipping in April or May of this year, and so far pricing is TBA, but most likely around $249.
Cool. I was just going to ask that. Thank you for doing that. All right, so Ray, we're looking at the Microchasm. You want to tell us about that?
Absolutely. So the Microchasm, several years ago, TWA released a pedal called the Great Divide, which was a 5-voice monophonic analog octave divider / synth. And it just had so many sounds in it, it did so many different things, but it was very expensive. So over the years, people have asked us to do like breakout versions of the different voices, and that's what the Microchasm is. It's basically a breakout box that has the octave down and octave up voices from the TWA Great Divide. So what you have is 1 octave down level control, a dry control for your clean signal. There's a tone control that you can adjust the octave down from very deep and round to a more square wave type of octave. And then there's also a basically what we call a filter cutoff switch. So if you have your tone set really deep and round, you could just flick that switch and it just gives you a straight clock off the flip-flop chip, so it goes from deep and round to square wave immediately. There's also an analog octave up, which is, for all intents and purposes, an Octavia, because it creates the octave up harmonic using distortion. So it basically functions like a Octavia, like a Tycho Brahe Octavia, The final feature that's pretty interesting is that there is a solo, an external switch can be attached to it where you can solo either the octave down voice or the octave up voice, selectable via a small dip switch on the side of the pedal. Right now we have the solo switch set for the octave up, and I'm going to let Ray play it and let you hear all the different sounds, and then he's going to solo that octave up so you can hear the Octavia by itself.
Sweet. Sweet. All right, how much is the Microcasm going for?
I'm not, again, it's TBA, but most likely like $199 to $229, depending on some of the parts, costs, and availability. So there's
Sweet.
a couple of tricky components in there. So depending on how hard they are to source will depend on the price.
Okay. You want to tell people where to go online to find out more?
Absolutely. You can check us out online, both the Wahxidizer and the Microcasm, at godlike.com or totallywickedaudio.com.
Sweet. Thanks for joining us, guys. Click subscribe so you don't miss out on any more Winter NAMM 2020 goodness.